When it comes to characters in the Naruto universe who are slept on by fans, I often see myself with Zabuza getting disrespected when I look at a lot of the comments. Part of the reason why, in my opinion, is because he was introduced so early into the Naruto series when Masashi Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, was still setting up the world building for his series. That's why in today's True Power series, the 7 Ninja Swordsmen edition, I'm going to be taking a look at the true power of Zabuza. So to put into perspective how powerful Zabuza is, I want to say this much. To be a member of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen, you have to be one of the most skilled swordsmen in the village. Zabuza was regarded as one of the most powerful members of the group. On top of that, he believed in his power enough that he attempted to assassinate the Mizukage, which is a feat in itself given how powerful the Mizukage at that time was. While he only had one change in chakra nature, water release, we saw in this battle with Kakashi that Zabuza was quite the monster in battle. Even without the usage of his arms, later on in that arc, Zabuza was able to use only a kunai in his mouth, and he was able to run through damn near all of Gato's men and kill a lot of them. Despite the heavy weight of his executioner's blade, Zabuza was able to wield it for long periods of time just off his pure strength. In fact, he was able to do so with one hand without sacrificing the skill that he uses in battle. Just like Kakashi earned a legend by using the Sharingan, Zabuza earned his reputation just off his skill using the silent killing jutsu. It was stated that Zabuza's skill was enough that despite the fact that he's in the mist, if a person so much as flickers their eye, Zabuza can pick up their presence and their location. His chakra levels were insane enough that when he began to release his chakra at its peak point, it was able to take on the appearance of a demon. The sheer killing intent that radiates from his chakra was enough to freeze people in their tracks. Now, if for whatever reason Zabuza cracks his blade in battle, Zabuza can use the blood of his enemies to repair his sword. Zabuza was so well renowned with the usage of his executioner's blade that people stated that Zabuza never had to slice twice when he used his sword when he was killing someone, carving through them cleanly with one chop. To put this into further perspective for you, Suigetsu, even with his Kage Genkai hydrification, being able to amp up the muscles in his body, he still can't use the blade for long periods of time like Zabuza. His days in the Anbu made him one diabolical fighter because Zabuza absorbed all the teachings of the hidden mist Anbu, purposely targeting the vital points of his enemy and the vital organs in a battle. His flying turn slash jutsu is used when he throws the executioner's blade. He throws it hard enough that it spins through the air, ready to slice through whoever he hits in half. His hidden mist jutsu is used when he uses water release to fill the area with a thick mist and uses chakra control to manipulate the thickness of the chakra and the thickness of the mist. Zabuza combined it with his silent killing jutsu. Now, the main drawback to all of this is that Zabuza's mist was so thick that he couldn't actually see the person, but he compensated for this by training his body to the point where he could pick up the subtle sounds and sense the changes that are made in the mist. Like when a person literally moves their mouth, they exhale, or they flicker their eyes. If you did any of these things, Zabuza could find you. Only the 3 great dojutsu of the Naruto verse, the Sharingan, the Byakugan, and the Rinnegan, have any hope of seeing through this mist. So his silent killing jutsu is used when Zabuza suppresses the sounds that his body makes, and he moves through the mist that he creates by using the hidden mist jutsu. Zabuza takes advantage of the soundless movements to sneak up on his enemies and penetrate his targets from behind, thrusting his very long sword inside of them and pulling out before they realize what happened. By the time that their blood is moving from their bodies, Zabuza is already moving on to the next target. Zabuza can also use the water clone jutsu. Using the water around him, Zabuza creates a clone of himself, much in the same vein of the shadow clones, but it's not quite the same thing. Just like a shadow clone, they can move and they can perform jutsu. However, the drawback to this is that Zabuza's clones only have 1/10 of his power, but 1/10 of Zabuza's power is also really impressive. Now, the other drawback to this is that the water clones, unlike Naruto's shadow clones, can't move too far away from his body or else they will dispel. Zabuza's water prison jutsu traps his enemy in a spear of dense water. The movements of his target are suspended and it becomes incredibly difficult for them to hold their breath. Neji had to use his Byakugan to shoot out chakra from every pore in his body to start the process of breaking free of a water prison jutsu that was being performed by a version of Kisame that only had 30% of his chakra, and the water clone of that 30% only had 1/10 of the 30% of the version of Kisame that Neji and Team Guy were fighting. The only other way that we've ever seen someone escape this jutsu unassisted, so I'm not counting what happens in Land of Waves with Team 7 and Kakashi, the only other time we saw someone break free of this is Kisame himself, who in the Akatsuki Hiden novel actually managed to shatter the water prison prison jutsu by increasing the amount of water that was already inside of the prison to the point where the prison itself couldn't contain it and Kisame was able to escape. Another drawback to this jutsu is the person has to stay in constant contact with the spear or else it will dispel. Though by the events of the Boruto era, we've actually seen users use this jutsu from a distance and not be required to stay in constant contact with it. The water prison can also be used as a shield if Zabuza places himself inside of it, much in the same way that Kisame was able to do this. The water release giant waterfall jutsu is made by focusing a giant volume of water chakra in Zabuza's mouth, and after molding an enormous volume of his chakra, he shoots it out with striking force of an actual waterfall, and the level of damage that he leaves behind is more comparable to that of a natural disaster. His water release water bullet jutsu starts out by molding chakra into his stomach and shooting out a large torrent of water at his enemy. His water dragon bullet jutsu molds chakra in his stomach as well and shoots out water chakra from his mouth, and as this happens he manipulates it to form into a dragon. The more chakra that he uses, the larger in size the dragon will become. In closing, I like to say that I personally feel is that Zabuza was a character who was the ideal, perfect first villain for Naruto as a series, but his power and height was more appropriate for the Shippuden levels of the series when you look at the grand scheme of things. Anyone who was in the upper tier of the 7 ninja swordsmen who were very overpowered themselves and attempted to kill a kage is someone who should have been introduced much later in the series. Around chapter 260, 270, 280 is about where Zabuza should have been introduced, but I mean, that's my thoughts on this matter, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and if you had to introduce Zabuza into the series, at what point would you introduce him into the Naruto manga? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.